guys, what's up? For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Dakota and today I'm going to be doing a book review on King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. There's a couple really neat things about the actual book. I think the cover is absolutely beautiful. It's stunning. It's like this metallic-y. It's unbelievable. And it also comes with this really cool map at the back of the book, which shows like all the main points in the books by Leigh Bardugo in the Grishaverse. It has like Ferda, Ketterdam, Kerch, Shuhan, Bravka. It's super neat that the book comes with that. So although I was extremely impressed with the cover of this book, I was sadly disappointed by the content. I didn't read the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and I really honestly feel like you do need to read that trilogy to read this book, because I was lost throughout a lot of this book, and I do think it's because I hadn't read that trilogy. However, I had read the Six of Crows duology, and I thought it was like incredible. Like, there are two of my favorite books of all time, and some of the characters in those books are my favorite characters of all time. So I was so disappointed with this book. I love Nina so much, and in this book it's like she's this whole other person, and it absolutely devastates me. So I did have quite a few problems with this book. There are some really amazing elements to this book as well. Of course there are. It's written by Leigh Bardugo. However, the cons for me outweighs the pros. I will probably read the second book just because I can't start something and not finish it, and I am hoping that the second book gets a lot better. But now I'm going to be starting to get into some really big spoilers, so if you haven't read the book and you do want to read it, please pause this video and exit out. Don't watch any further because I will ruin it for you. So I did find this book really slow at times. Like, I was bored a lot throughout this book, and I didn't find that with Six of Crows or Crooked Kingdom at all. I was like totally in the book the entire time, but with this I only really got into this book the last like 70 pages or so. So I was kind of disappointed with that. So this book is told in 3 different point of views. There's Nina, Nikolai, and Zoya. I wasn't as familiar with Nikolai and Zoya. I met them a little bit at the end of Crooked Kingdom, and I was excited to learn more about their characters. But I was super familiar with Nina, so I will just start with her point of view. So Nina is still like super heartbroken about Matthias, and I totally get it because they were made for each other and they were in love. And when she buries Matthias, it's like one of the most heartbreaking scenes in this book. I was in tears. But then like 2 seconds later she meets a new love interest, and it kind of ruined it for me because I don't want Nina with anyone else yet because I'm just not ready for it. I'm not ready for Nina to move on. I'm sorry, that's selfish, but I'm not. So she meets this character named Hannay, and I don't overly like Hannay's, I think it's pronounced Hannay's character anyways. So I really just don't want her to be with Nina because Nina can do no wrong in my eyes, and I think she's perfect. So she can only be with Matthias. So I'm not over that. I really don't want it to happen. I know it's going to happen because there was definitely some foreshadowing there, and Nina definitely had some romantic thoughts towards her, but I'm not ready. Another little bit of a problem I had with Nina in this book, which kind of disappointed me, was that Nina wasn't really herself. And I know that she was undercover and she was a spy for Bravka, but she didn't seem like the old Nina, and I know it's partially because her heart was broken by Matthias's death as well, but I really had a hard time wrapping my head around this new Nina. It was really hard for me. I still love her, but yeah, I did have a really hard time with the new Nina. But with Nina's point of view, which is really cool, is there's a couple references to Six of Crows which really excited me. Like, we find out that Leonie is the little girl that Jesper's mom dies saving when Jesper was little, and I was just like, my mind was just blown. Like, I was just like, what? All of a sudden, out of the blue, they're bringing up Jesper's mom, and I thought that was really cool because I was happy that they tied in some of the Six of Crows. Also, when Nina is jumping off the windowsill from the factory, she whispers, "No mourners." And I'm just like, yes, girl, you are still a part of the Six of Crows crew. You will forever be a thug and a criminal, and I love you for it. So I was really happy she did that because her heart is still totally with them, and I can see that in this book. She also mentions really missing Inej. I'm really hoping Inej makes an appearance in the second book because I would love for them to spend some more time together and maybe for Inej to help Nina out with her plans. I think that would be really cool. I really hope that happens because I also really just miss Inej as well, and they're really cool best friends. Another thing I really liked about this book was I loved Nikolai's personality. This was my first time really getting to know his character, and I was so happy with it. He is such a good king. He is willing to die for his country. He remembers all of his servants and all of his soldiers' names, as well as a little bit of what's going on in their lives. I think that's such an admirable quality in a king, but he's still so entertaining because he's charming, he's witty, he's funny, and I love him for it. I think he is such an intriguing character, and I actually wish they would have done more of his point of view because I loved him, and I know that him and Zoya are kind of having romantic thoughts towards each other, and I still don't know how I feel about it because I just don't think Zoya is ready yet. I think that she's still too broken up about her past. I don't think she's ready to move on from her past yet, and I really want her to be her best self when she eventually gets with Nikolai. And that leads us into Zoya's perspective. Zoya is trying to help Nikolai overcome his demons. Nikolai has this demon inside of him that will come out every once in a while and completely wreak havoc. And it's really scary, and he needs to get rid of this in order to rule the country properly. So Zoya is trying to help him out with that, but you can tell she's also like kind of in love with him, but like she doesn't want to admit to herself that she's like kind of into him, which is kind of cool. This was my first time really getting into Zoya's character as well, and I was impressed. She's not somebody I'd want to be friends with ever because she's just so ruthless and she can be really mean sometimes, but she's also really honest. She's really upfront. She says what she means, and she's such a badass female character that I can't hate her because I love everything that she stands for. I love that she's beautiful, but she is mean because a lot of people see beautiful people as being like kind and like gentle, but she's a complete badass. She's so powerful and she's mean, and I kind of like it. It's super interesting, and I like the way that other characters respond to her. One thing I do wish there was more of was I thought Genya and David were super amazing characters that I wish we could have learned more of because I just thought they were so intriguing, and yeah, I just love them. Please give me more Genya and David in the next book. Another thing I really like about Zoya is that she gains all this power in this book, and now she's like one of like the strongest Grisha in the entire universe, and I think that's really cool. However, when she defeats the Saint, I just found it so anticlimactic. Like, I think they needed to make that fighting scene a little bit longer and a little bit more of a struggle for her because it wasn't what I wanted it to be. In the end, we find out like the Darkling, like the big Darkling ending. The Darkling goes into Yuri's body. Yuri is a priest. He worships the Darkling, and yeah, the Darkling goes into his body, so he's back, and I don't know why they haven't just killed him right away. Like, that's still flooring me, but yeah, I just would have stabbed that guy right away. I didn't read the Shadow and Bone trilogy, as I said, but I think that he's kind of old news. Like, he was the villain in that trilogy, and I feel like they really need a new villain in this one. I also, one thing I really don't understand is like these powerful Grisha that can fly and are almost indestructible. She keeps bringing them up in her books. Like, it was brought up in Crooked Kingdom and it was brought up again in King of Scars, but we have no idea like what they are, where they're coming from, or why they're doing this. So it's been 2 books, but we've had like no explanation at all, and nobody has tried to figure it out, and that's kind of driving me insane. So I'm hoping that she goes more into that in the next book as well. That's all of my thoughts on this book. I was disappointed because I was holding it to the Six of Crows standards, and I guess I shouldn't have been doing that. I should have just been going into this book with a completely open mind, but I didn't, and so I got my hopes up and was slightly disappointed. I would probably rate this book a 3.5 out of 5. I think that the second book has potential to do a lot better. I'm really hoping it does. But yeah, those are definitely just my final thoughts of King of Scars. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I linked my Instagram, Goodreads, and Twitter down below in case you guys want to follow me on there, and it would mean the world to me if you subscribed and liked this video. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!